Oh, we're back.
Oh,
We're back. We're
jeez.
back. We're back.
Happening more often.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Bloody Discord. Mike, you got some serious editing to do with this podcast, mate. You have to edit all these little blips out.
Syphilis.
So it won't take too long. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Footy Fetish. This is another Euro special. I think this is the fifth episode of our Euro special. We're now into the quarterfinals, but we're going to talk about the round of 16, and then we're also going to talk about some transfer stuff. Just get that out of the way with myself, Alfie. Obviously, we've got Mark as per usual.
Yup.
Ollie.
Yo.
And Harry. He's here again. We've got the band back together. And,
Good little
we're
rant.
here. We're here to give you some good Euros stuff, I guess. But where should we start? I think it's pretty obvious where we should start, lads. Where's it coming?
Home.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's coming
direct.
We're
home.
going
yeah.
to Rome, but it's coming home.
We beat the Germans in knockout football of a major tournament, boys. Without
There you go.
conceding a
Oh,
goal. We haven't
yeah.
conceded this whole tournament.
So
And,
someone's just had a quick question. Any hot topics for today? Just to quickly answer that, obviously, as we've just said,
Well, we beat the Germans,
England, we
mate.
beat the Germans.
Mhm.
So there you
Lots
go.
of hot topics.
The
The
All
hottest
Euro
of
news.
topics.
I am going to
Exactly.
say that we smashed them. That's not the case, but we smashed them. So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll get into it. Before we get into obviously the second half, which is the main bit, what did you guys think of the first half?
First 10 minutes, I was quite worried. I was going to message you guys like, guys, this is not good. But I think soon after that, we then picked up the pace, and Sterling and Saka managed to obviously made some good runs, put a couple of good balls in, and it was a lot more positive from there. Really, we proper took charge of that of the game in terms of we didn't look as poor in the last 35 minutes compared to the first 10.
Yeah, we definitely grew into it. Like, I think, like
Oh.
Ollie says, I was confident right after kick-off, and then
We've had a
that
follow,
first-
guys. Sorry to interrupt you there, Harry. You've had a follow.
big up.
Lil Kim Lurkin.
Oh,
Thanks for the follows.
Kim. Is that Kim?
Thanks,
That is
Kim.
Kim. Isn't
I
it?
mean,
This is
Kim.
the Lil Kim.
Kimbo. Nice. Thanks
Young
for the sub, mate. Thank
first
you.
half is on that. Charlie said first half I fell asleep. Almost did on the second too. Well, the last 20 minutes were the best part of the game. Let's be honest.
I think that's fair. I thought it was a pretty good game.
Pretty good
Yeah,
second.
the first half I was at work, so we luckily there was no. Obviously, as soon as 5 o'clock hit, the streets just dead. There
Really.
was like no one around. So I just had my laptop. We just shoved it on the table at work, and we were just watching it.
Yeah, I saw your little snap.
Yeah. And
Nice and set up.
first half was painful, man. What was it? Was it Harry? It was in the first half where Harry Kane took the heavy touch, wasn't it? And
Yeah,
could've
that was
scored.
unlucky.
That actually made me drop to my knees. I haven't done that watching football in quite a long time, but that actually made me like. I was in the middle of the shop as well, just dropped to my knees. It's like, oh mate.
I think it's harsh people saying he should have shot first time because it was a stretch to get to in the first place.
I agree, but I also think Harry Kane this season does hit that first time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think he takes that touch if he's playing in a Tottenham shirt. I don't know if it's just because
I don't know. He's never been much of a volleyer.
No, you're right. No, yeah, you're right there.
Big
I
Donny
think,
Char said, I also think Saka had some unfortunate balls in the first half. Unfortunate balls in the
What do you
first
mean
half.
by that, Char? 'Cause I did think he was our outstanding player of the first half and was the one
100%.
breathing life into the team a bit.
He received unfortunate balls, or he was putting in unfortunate balls, because
Yeah.
the balls he was putting in weren't bad at all.
No.
Really, he obviously
Or
he
is it
gets quite a lot of.
syphilis.
God's sake.
Oh, great!
Yeah, I'd assume receiving balls because let's be honest, Saka was in the first 45 minutes the ball was going through him basically. Every pass was being sent to him and then he was sending it on. So
Yeah, he got fouled quite a few times in that first half as well.
yeah,
It's what he does really. He's so quick. So he's starting in between players.
Don't know
and
where he's
people
gonna
just people stick a foot in, and
Char
yeah.
confirmed it's receiving the balls, which is fair. I think he done well though. I think he did well at them.
I think he did well. He
was
so
close
much-
to getting that. Sorry, Al.
Yeah.
When Kane did take that touch, he was so unlucky not to. Yeah, it was like just kind of behind him, Saka. where he could have put it in. But I think it's ultimately a good thing that we didn't score at that point.
Yeah, just what I was gonna say is his movement was just unreal compared to everyone else in the England team. But I know Harry Kane is obviously not. I don't know what. Obviously, he got his goal, which thank God. Like I mean, I think I said a couple of podcasts ago, Harry Kane doesn't go 4 or 5 games without scoring goals. Like that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
and he proved us right. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't. Even in his worst times, he can come and bag a goal. But his movement was poor in that first half.
He was barely moving.
He was so
moving.
slow and just wasn't going for balls that he should have been going for, or putting in. He wasn't throwing his weight around that he should be doing. Especially against those big German centre backs in Hummels, Rudiger, and Ginter. Like they're big guys, that they can bully you off the ball. But it proved in the second half. Obviously, he got his goal, which is great. But that all came from the injection of Jack Grealish, lads.
We've been bigging him up.
It was instrumental in both the goals. Obviously, linking up with Sterling, Kane, and Shaw. Obviously, got to give Luke Shaw a lot of props. He did look a bit lost sometimes on that wing back role, in the first half mainly. But worked really hard to get the second to set up to win the ball back to set up the first goal. Was a great bit of play. But yeah,
would you guys? The second one, you started that move as well.
Yeah, and the second one, of course. Yeah. So do you think moving forward, it's a two-part of this question. One, does Jack Grealish start? And two, do we play the same formation that we played this against Germany, or because it's not Germany and it's going to be the Ukraine?
We're not playing Germany. Yeah, 100%.
Do we go back to the 4 at the back?
Well, if you look at obviously what Southgate clearly isn't really being affected by like the social media and stuff like that, because everyone's calling for Sancho to be played, and clearly we're winning games, not conceding goals, and we haven't played Sancho. So could you really blame if he does whatever he wants to do again? Obviously, what we played against Germany was probably suited to play against Germany, and you could probably see that with 3 at the back, Shaw, Trippier, and then going forward, obviously, was a bit more conservative.
Yeah.
Somehow, even though we scored more goals this game than any other. But if you're playing against Ukraine, you'll probably see more switches at the 4 at the back, more switches sort of around the mid, maybe going forward. Sterling's got to start, by the way, because Charles asked the question: what do we think of Sterling as well?
He is. It doesn't matter, does it? What he does in the Man City shirt. We just got to pay his respects, man. He turns up when he puts the England shirt on, and
he does.
Like, I'd rather be that way around.
He's scoring the goals, which obviously is what he's there for. It's good. Obviously, I did send you guys a message partway through the game and just said, when is he going to learn to pass? Because there's so many opportunities where he's holding the ball for that little bit too long, and then he just gets someone sticks a foot in and like intercepts the ball or something, and he needs to sort of analyze the play a bit more and say, right, that was one too many touches, and it seems to be happening a bit too often at the moment. We saw was it the Czech Republic game or the Scotland game? I think I can't remember what bloody game it was, but he had so many opportunities to pass pass the balls out, and it was just getting tackled in the end. I think that is the only thing that's sort of letting him down at the moment. Other than that, he's playing brilliantly. He's other than Kane now, he's scored all of our goals. He's putting in balls. He's in the right place. But as I say, there's a couple of moments there where he's not sort of doing himself any justice really by just not passing the ball.
Yeah, there was one yesterday where Saka was through and he could have slid him in.
Yeah.
Also, he was responsible for the Thomas Muller chance, but he's doing his job up front, and that's what we need him to do.
And he was doing his job at the back as well. He's getting back, making tackles a couple times in the second. But I will say, I agree with you with the passing thing. There was definitely multiple chances where he should have put the ball through to players, but held onto it. But I did see in that second half a couple times him look up and was looking for people, but there was just no one making runs. So I think he's got it there. I just think his decision making at times can be poor. So it is literally like sometimes he's looking when maybe he shouldn't be, but then other times he's not looking when he should be. I think if he just like we're saying, if he can work that out, then man, he's onto an absolute flyer. Hopefully he can work it out in time for the quarterfinals.
Bard's Bites came in with a comment: best pass Sterling made was to Muller. Fuck's sake. Thankfully the worst shot there was Muller. So
I think going in the next game I would play Sterling on the right, Kane and Grealish on the left, 4 at the back, and then you can even have Mount in the hole again and play Mount and Grealish. Because Grealish was so good on the left yesterday.
Can I propose the question that I know Gareth got it right in this instance, but is Grealish as an impact sub the way to use him?
That's the thing. It's a tough one because that's what I was thinking. Really, he's been playing really well when he has come off the bench, and when we start like Saka, for instance, he's been consistent sort of throughout the majority of the game. Yeah, he's not playing all 90 minutes, but obviously he's 19 years old. You don't really expect him to be playing all 90 minutes. And yeah, obviously if you start Saka, he's maybe a bit more consistent in the first half or the first sort of hour of the game, but as I said, we haven't given Jack Grealish that opportunity to start to see what he's like in that first hour or the first half, to see how much of an impact he does have. If it's a case of him only being able to perform when he comes on in the latter stages of the game, then obviously we should keep doing that, because that's the way to get the best out of him. But I think a lot of people will be pushing for him to start, quite rightly so. Really, he's been outstanding every time he's sort of come on and played.
One thing I was pleased about yesterday was that even though I like him as a player, that Rashford was not brought on, because I do not think he fits the England team system at all.
No.
I know the system changes
again,
a lot,
Harry?
but Rashford, I don't think he fits in with the rest of the squad. I mean, I do rate him as a player, but seeing him coming on the last few games and not really making any impact,
hasn't offered anything, unfortunately. I'm a really big fan of Rashford. I think he is also a perfect cut, because this tournament we've been calling out, because obviously Kane has been whatever. We've been calling out for a fast striker. Do you know what I mean? And then unfortunately, obviously Rashford's got the injury. You now question, should he be even gone? Should we have used that space for someone else? But I don't know. It is. I mean, Bards has put a question in and saying team morale seems so good. I think players would embrace coming off the bench to make an impact. That's definitely spot on. Like, we have probably one of the best benches. We definitely have the best bench left of the competition, I think, with the talent that's on there. With like players that have barely seen the pitch, like Sancho, and Mount didn't play last game. Chilwell's barely played. Reece James has barely played. Nearly came on yesterday when Trippier pulled his hamstring, I think it was. Yeah. But obviously ultimately ran it off. And I think it's just a testament to also what Bard's saying about team morale, because how many of these players shake off the injuries that they picked up in that Germany game if they're playing at club level, or do they just go, do you know what I mean, or do they take the sub? Like, does Harry Kane sit, take a couple minutes to he probably does, because he's like the ultimate professional, isn't it? But Trippier, these kind of players, I just think Southgate's got it very well, got it sort of sorted at the moment, and I think we should play a 4 at the back. But if he goes for a 3 at the back, I'm backing it, man. I'm backing him the full way, whatever he decides.
Speaking of the full way, GBVINJ, don't know how.
That's the old man.
Oh, of course. Oh, Vin. So realistically, can England go all the way with a defensive midfield when up against Italy, Belgium, Spain, or even Denmark? Oh, fucking hell! All right.
We got to match. Well, I think against them guys, we have to match what they do, because we did it against Germany and it worked so well. So if they're going to overload the field, then we're going to have to play 3 in the midfield. If we play 3 in the midfield, it's not going to be just 2 defensive midfield. Obviously, it's not going to be all defensive. You'll have a Mount or someone in there, maybe a Grealish playing in the midfield as well. But I like Phillips and Rice, man. I think it was a bit scary early doors yesterday when they both picked up yellow cards quite early. Cruz saw too much of the ball in the first half, but in the second half, Rice and Phillips had that midfield locked. They were fantastic, and it's not. I don't think it's them two as the problem. I think it's how you utilize them in that midfield.
Phillips was also putting in some wondrous passes as well, just knocking it about.
Quality.
Apparently, Kroos is going to retire from international football now.
Oh, if
all
we retire,
it took was 90 minutes against Calvinho.
Calvinho, yeah. What do they call him? Something Pirlo. I can't remember what it is, but
the Yorkshire Pirlo.
The Yorkshire Pirlo. There we go. Yeah.
And that was Joachim Löw's last game. Fantastic.
It was. Yeah. What a low to finish on there.
Thomas Muller.
Thomas Muller. But I'm a big Muller fan. But we were saying it's because it wasn't the World Cup, man. If this was the World Cup, he would have scored a hat trick. Because that's what he does. World Cup, he bags goals. Euros, I don't think he scored it at Euros yet. I think that's right. I think I heard them saying on the game the other day. Yeah. I don't think he scored, but he's one of their. He's got 10 goals at the World Cup. So
I think one point that did slightly concern me yesterday was when Harry Kane obviously took a little bit of a knock, and we thought, oh, what's going on here? And then he sort of seemed to be down for a little bit, and obviously got up and shook it off, which was fine. But I think in that instance where we didn't have Calvert-Lewin even on the bench or anything, he was left out of the squad completely. So our only real options there are sort of pushing Rashford up, or getting Rashford on, and other than that, we didn't really have any proper out-and-out strikers on the bench or sort of ready to go, which was a little bit concerning, really. It would have been quite cool to see Calvert-Lewin come on if Harry Kane obviously did get injured. Thank God he didn't, because obviously he's just scored the winning goal and everything. But I think, yeah, it's a little bit concerning having just that one striker. So I know we do have quite a versatile team, and you can sort of play players in other positions and stuff. But the only one realistically that you can stick up top would probably be Rashford.
Yeah, I think he did get some, as brilliant as Southgate was in this game, like tactically astute and just fantastic. He got lucky that that Kane wasn't a serious injury and Calvert-Lewin went at the same game that he left Calvert-Lewin out, because if that happened, if he's injured, then literally the best thing for us is Calvert-Lewin there. Like he can play a similar, he's threatening in the air. So if we're going to put these balls in Trippier and Shaw and that, which Shaw needs to get his delivery a bit better. Trippier was on point again as always, but Shaw's was a little bit up and down. But yeah, Calvert-Lewin, and he's quicker. He's faster as well, so he can get in behind. So, but obviously,
he's a little bit more agile than Harry Kane. He seems to be able to sort of his reactions are slightly better.
Yeah, he's not dissimilar to him in play style either. So yeah, like Al says, he could slot into that role easily without having to change the tactics.
I still would rather have like a Harry Kane with like a little niggle than Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I still would rather that anyway. So I don't know, but
in a tournament like this, you need Kane playing if he can play. For sure.
Yeah, of course, literally, like he's our guy, and
he pulls two defenders to him almost immediately. So.
I was literally about to say, even if he's not scoring, he's constantly on the mind of the opposition, even if he's not doing anything. So we need him. But yeah, I mean, I want to hear. Quite interesting. I want to get an out of 10 score from everyone on that performance. What you guys actually, if you're going to rate it out of 10, because I'm going to go solidly. I mean, result 10 out of 10, but the
performance.
I would say probably 8.
I was thinking
8. Given what.
I agree.
I'd agree. I initially thought 8. I was leaning more towards like a 7, just because that first half we just looked like we were going to lose. Within the first 15-20 minutes, I was like, we're going to lose.
Like, I played really well.
Exactly.
Well.
Like if it wasn't genuinely, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, if it wasn't for Pickford, sorting shit out, and
we haven't even
come on, like.
I think we should apologise to Pickford.
Yeah, we need to give him real praise, because we are the first.
And I picked him in my lineup.
You did.
Harry backed him, but we are the first to jump on him and have a go at him when he does something bad. So let's all see his praises. Pickford, round of applause for Pickford.
Pickford is England's number 1, and he should be quite rightly so. When he plays for England, he does play quite well. But when he plays for Everton
yesterday, Jesus Christ.
When he plays for Everton, I think we can get back to.
He's a lunatic for Everton.
Sacking him off a bit, but he's a lunatic for Everton. Yeah, but no, he definitely deserves some praise. He's been phenomenal so far. Yet to concede a goal. So no, that's not just him. That is obviously down to the defence as well. But a lot of it is down to him. Like you said, Alf, a second ago, he made some brilliant saves yesterday. The one he saw very late against Havertz. That went sort of in between the two of our centre backs was, how on earth he saw that so quickly, managed to react was great. Obviously, but like we've said a couple of times before in previous episodes, he does tend to potentially over dramatise a lot of his sort of saves sometimes, but we're not really seeing that in the Euros at the moment. He's making the necessary saves. He's doing what he needs to do, but he's not taking it that step further, sort of stepping sort of over that line, which I think just shows hopefully how much he's matured, and hopefully it will be a thing for him going forward as well, that he'll be able to consistently play at this sort of level for Everton and for England, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. I think before we move on from England, because we do need to move on at some point, we could talk about these guys for the whole hour and of whatever we've got. Yeah. But I just want to sing the praises of Maguire and Stones, and especially Maguire, because there was a lot of people saying you don't need to drop Mings. Mings has been great, mate. Maguire brings so much more to this team.
He was so up for that game yesterday. It was unbelievable.
We automatically start play 10 yards forward, because Maguire and Stones aren't afraid to actually push up with the ball. You see Mings just gets it bang straight to the wing back. Gets it bang straight to his defensive partner.
Maguire will pull it forward as far as you can
Maguire
go.
he'll run over the halfway line if he sees the opportunity to. I love it.
Driving centre back.
That slabhead, mate. What a guy.
Yeah,
Bards
Bards agrees as well. Maguire carried the ball out so well last night. He did.
Fantastic.
He really did. He really pushed it.
Stones has been so solid throughout. There's a lot of questions around Stones, obviously saying, "Oh, without Maguire, what's he gonna be like?" He's been fantastic without Maguire, and now he's been even better once Maguire's come in. Who'd have thunk it that England have the going into this tournament? We were so worried about the defense and not the attack. We have the best defense of the tournament so far.
Yeah,
we're the only team to not concede a goal.
Yeah,
potentially.
Love
Josie Rose is in the chat.
Oh, me mum.
And before we leave the England chat, can you tell me, did you all cry?
I was on a train, but I hugged the guy next to me on the train.
I was well in.
I've had me jam.
I was at work for the Sterling goal. I was outside having a cigarette. There was no one else there. It was just the TV because it was raining. No one sat outside. And today my arm is like an absolute agony because when it went in, I was just going absolutely apeshit, just flinging my arm around. And brilliant stuff.
Yeah, I was watching it in my room, and it's just me at home for the first sort of 10-15, and as soon as the first goal went in the second half, I was going nuts. I was screaming, I was shouting, I was so excited. Quickly, my mum just pokes her head around the door, like, "Is everything okay?" So, yes, Mum, England have scored. Coming home.
And I had a fairly similar situation, different reaction though. Becky was sat right next to me on her phone, not looking at the game for those few minutes, and I just shouted, "Just come on!" and just phone everywhere. She's like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" Literally the whole everything. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I was just walking through down to Charing Cross with my phone, just like walking down the street, just not looking at anyone, just looking at the fucking phone, just walking down. It's like so good, man. But yeah, let's talk about the lads that we'll be facing, I guess. Ukraine won last night. I watched the first half. Zinchenko scored a banger. It was such a good goal. And then I saw the Norway. What am I talking about? Sweden goal. Sorry. Was it Forsberg again? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it who? Sorry.
It was Forsberg again, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It was Forsberg, yeah. But I got bored, I'll be honest, and I turned it off.
I did the exact same thing.
Got an early night in the end, but obviously when I turned it on, obviously Ukraine are through, man. I mean, I wasn't last night while I was watching the first half and like in bed, I was sort of having a little check of the score before I went to sleep. I was thinking like, oh, who do I want to win? Who do I want to win? But like, I think they're so similar in what they offer. That like they're dangerous. Like they've got a couple danger men each. It's just like I'm not really.
I wouldn't have taken either, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wasn't really too bothered. I wasn't really rooting for one over the other. But yeah, I agree with you. But if I turned it off after the first half, it was just a bit of a boring game. Obviously, because there was so much excitement surrounding the England game. I think the Ukraine versus Sweden game was just a bit sort of meh afterwards. But the goal that Ukraine scored in it was added time, wasn't it? It's the latest goal to ever be scored in European like football. As in in the Euros.
Do we know what minute that was then? Was that 90?
It was 120 minutes and 25 seconds or something.
Yeah.
So but before that it was like 118 minutes and something. So yeah.
Wow.
Like 2 minutes later, it's the latest goal ever scored in the Euros.
Didn't someone nearly get their leg broken as well? I feel like I saw a defender got a red card.
So it was Marcus Danielson got red carded for his high tackle one. I don't know who the guy was. It was straight red, yeah. I saw a picture of it. I haven't seen the challenge. I saw a picture of it and it looks disgusting.
Yeah.
The challenge was like it wasn't like malicious, but it was a bit reckless kind of thing.
Right.
Like he certainly wasn't trying to hack him. He was looking at the ball. He kind of goes in with his leg high and studs out kind of thing, and then he does bend his leg like that. It was a red card, but it wasn't
injured. I'm assuming he's injured. The guy.
I think so. Yeah.
It's got to be. You can't walk away.
The only thing about that is that obviously seeing a picture of it can sort of comparing that to actually seeing the challenge can be quite misleading. If you'd seen a picture of when Phillips got his yellow card yesterday. Was it? Who was it again? What, Cruz? I think that he tackled. If you'd taken a screenshot of that, that would have looked horrible. But in reality, it wasn't a great tackle. It was because of probably the angle that his foot that was positioned at that made it sort of look a lot worse. But
is it one where he went studs up?
Yeah, he kind of like half grazed the top of Cruz's like boot or something, kind of like scraped it or whatever. But yeah, I think seeing the actual image comparing to seeing the actual sort of tackle itself could be sort of two slightly different stories. Personally, I've not seen the tackle. I've only seen the image like you, Alf. And it didn't look great, really.
Nah. But I want to get, before we move on to, because the Ukraine, there's not much to talk about, man. I think we're going to smash the Ukraine in the next round. But let's get, what do you guys think for quarterfinals then? England, Ukraine.
Well, there were pros and cons of either Sweden and Ukraine. I mean, Ukraine have a better attack than Sweden. Sweden have a better defense than Ukraine.
Yeah.
But ultimately, ability-wise, are pretty similar, like you said. But Yaremchuk and Yarmolenko both been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, Yarmolenko is just nothing like he is for West Ham. He really decides to turn up. Maybe it's getting one of the best strikers ever, coaching you might help him in Ojo.
Yeah, they've got Mr. Ukraine as the manager.
He's looking good, by the way.
Yeah.
Heard he tried to get a political career when I was watching the warm-up for the game.
Well, yeah, I think it's something because obviously Vladimir Klitschko is like the mayor of Kiev, isn't he? So it's like because they're held in such high regard in the Ukraine, they're celebrities. They do get into office, but they only get certain way because there is a lot of political problems in the Ukraine that are going on. Obviously, we don't get into that kind of stuff on this podcast, so we're gonna just steer clear of that. We talk about football. But yeah, so but I'm gonna go 2-0 England for England-Ukraine.
Yeah,
I think we'll do it.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. 2-0. Yeah.
Yeah, 2-0. Oh, 2-0 or 3-1.
2-0. No, I'm back at 2-0.
Yeah, I'm more confident with a 2-0, but I think maybe either a 2-0 or a 3-1. I think we may concede our first goal.
I'm going to back a bit of drama. I'm going to go 4-0. Obviously, England.
Okay,
I'm going to back some goals.
Right, 0-0. I'm back at 0-0.
Last time I did a mad one like that, I said we beat Scotland 7-0 and we drew 0-0. So, But no, I like it. I'm going to say 2-0. I just think, it will be another... I could see Grealish maybe bagging himself a goal this time if he gets on. One of Sterling and Kane will score again, I imagine.
Declan Rice told Peter Crouch if he scored that he'd do the robot, so I want to see Declan Rice score.
Nice.
Yes, definitely. Declan Rice, 4 goals there.
But should we get on to our second team? Everyone's on this podcast second team. If England went in it, we would be thumping for these guys to win the Euros. Denmark are into the quarters. Our prediction of them making the semis is so close to happening. I mean, they just destroyed Wales. Wales were a bit unlucky. That red card was a bit unlucky. I think it was a red card, but it could go either way. But yeah, I mean, it didn't really matter, did it? They still messed them up,
Destroyed them.
Yeah, Dolberg gets 2. Braithwaite got a goal, looking good. Fair play. I mean, they are really rallying behind the troops. Everyone feeling from this Eriksen thing. I think it's just got such a... I don't know. It must have just... It's obviously stoked the fire. Do you know what I mean? They just ran them over, man. They've looked nothing but great since that Finland game, which they ended up ultimately losing. But ever since then, they've been fantastic. I'm actually quite worried if they get through and we get through. That Denmark game is not going to be easy at all.
No, the way they're playing.
We might end up not being a Denmark podcast if they knock us out.
Yeah.
But to be fair, if anyone knocks us out, if anyone knocks us out, I'll be glad it would be Denmark.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Hopefully Sweden can pull through that side. Switzerland can pull through the other side of the tournament.
Yeah.
That's going to be tough. But what do you make, guys? Wales, man. I mean, they did the second best. Like, that whole thing of could they be a dark horse was just back in 2016. What was it? 2016, yeah.
They did better than I thought they would do.
But this is it. This is it now because, let's be honest, the next Euros, Bale and Ramsey aren't going to be there. And if they are, they're not certainly going to be able to do nearly as much as they could do now or in 2016. So it's a bit like... Wales, man.
Bale was a bit wank, can't lie.
Yeah, Bale wasn't great. either.
The only youngster that could hit similar heights is Dan James.
He's not going to either. Like, let's be real.
No, I don't think he will. But he's the only one
no.
with showing glimpses of.
You'll still be better than Scotland, Wales. So that's all that matters, really, isn't it?
Nico Williams had a bit of a blunder as well. Basically gave a goal, terrible passes. Was literally getting
Liverpool
ran.
players for you.
Wait, no, barely played.
Barely played, fair enough. But yeah, we don't need to talk about them lot. There's not much to say really about Wales, to be honest. Well, try again next time. I don't know. Maybe you'll get into the World Cup. Is the World Cup qualifiers done?
No, I don't think they've finished. Yeah, they've started, but I don't think they've finished.
Okay, cool. Because I don't know how they're getting on actually in the World Cup qualifiers, but hopefully they make it. I'd quite like to see a couple home nations get there just so that they can get booted out the group stage.
Yeah, the World Cup qualifiers, I think they started a month or two before the Euro started. It was the last international break before the season ended.
Right. Yeah, of course it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was when obviously Southgate announced his initial sort of team, and everyone was thinking like there was no Trent in it, and everyone was like, oh my god, like no Trent, and then obviously he does get picked for the Euros, but gets injured. So
Wales are currently third in their group. They've got Belgium and Czech Republic ahead of them. And then Belarus and Estonia behind them.
So they could definitely make it. They might make it as like a 4th seed in a group or something like that, but they could still make it for sure.
The second.
Oh wow.
Denmark. They got Denmark and Austria in this, but
well.
you'd like to imagine Austria will come back.
Yeah, I'm imagining they were definitely off this Euros hype. They were really they were unlucky not to beat Italy. Really unlucky. But let's talk about who the Denmark will be playing, and then we'll get our prediction for the Denmark-Czech Republic game. So the Czech Republic, I would say upset of the tournament, but nah. Very close to upset the tournament. But, you know, the Netherlands are bound to do something shit because Frank de Boer's at the helm. Like, I think every Euro special so far, we've said how bad Frank de Boer is.
You've mentioned it a few times, yeah.
Yeah. I like to get him in when I can.
Over history, the Netherlands are bigger chokers than we are, and they don't get any shit for it.
Yeah. At least
they've lost like 3 World Cup finals.
Yeah, they haven't even won anything. Like, you know, we've won. I haven't won the World Cup actually. They might have won the Euros. I can't remember. But they haven't. Okay, they haven't won anything. So they might have won the Euros. Check that for me, H. But they haven't won the World Cup. Well, at least we've won that. Might have been a little while ago, but we've done it.
Nevertheless.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, De Ligt, red card, stupid from him. A bit not really unlucky. I was trying to make it sort of, you know, work it out. It wasn't unlucky. He got caught out. Do you know what I mean? Doing something stupid. So he got.
They've won 1 Euros.
They won 1 Euros. Okay.
1988.
I think he got sort of a bit of a double whammy there, De Ligt. He was it last man that he fouled, and it was a handball at the same time. So it was just 2 for the price of 1, really.
What a blunder.
Yeah, not good.
But yeah, no. Yeah, Patrick Van Aanholt, man, he was getting bullied on that field. Like I know better than anyone that going forward, he's one of the best wing backs in the world, and that's not even that's not an overstatement. He is fantastic going forward. I think he scored more goals than any other left back in the Premier League, like since he's been playing or whatever. But defensively, he is so bad. He's so poor that, you know, he gets bullied about, and it's just, I don't know. It's a shame because I like De Jong. I think De Jong might be one of the best midfielders in the world right now. And De Ligt is fantastic. You know, Depay is great. But when you've got such a bad manager, man, it just comes back to the manager. When you've got such a bad manager, like he's got no tactical awareness. He just plays the same way every game and just hopes that they win. You know, they were lucky to get the win against Ukraine. But yeah, what do you guys make of the Netherlands, man?
Yeah, disappointing from them, really. They looked very, they were sneaky good in the groups. They looked quite impressive, but they really just, I don't know what it was. They just did not turn up for that game against the Czech Republic. Not at all.
Reckon maybe an appearance of Van Dijk could have changed things. Just him being there. Yeah. Just him being there may have swung things differently, but Pickford made sure to sort that out for the Euros. The tactical genius he is.
Yeah, exactly. That's some Arsene Wenger shit. That is.
Exactly. I think. Another sub. Brendan Rodgers is now following the podcast.
Yes, Brendan.
Mon the Brendan Rodgers.
You
Oh,
did a
wow.
shit job. I
Scouts,
forgive
bro.
you for the shit job you did at Reading.
We'll be
Brilliant.
Brendan
scouts.
Rodgers is unfollowed. Oh, okay.
Brendan Rodgers, say hi. Welcome yourself.
Lasted longer than he did at Reading.
Leave a comment, ask us anything you want about the Euros. We're going to move on to transfers in a little bit, but we're on Euros right now.
I was just saying that, you know, Van Dijk, if he was playing, he would definitely change that team. You know, he probably would have been that back line organising people, because he is a big presence. I mean, just physically as well. He would have just handled things at the back, and sort of players going forward probably would have been way more reassured, way more confident and comfortable. I think they would have been a completely different team. I mean, we see how it affected Liverpool, taking Van Dijk out. It all just crumbled all the way through. It was just a ripple effect. So probably the same with Netherlands, maybe. Obviously, not to the impact, because they're not Liverpool, obviously. But I think, you know, you take Van Dijk out, that's a world-class, huge player who offers a lot of, like I said, stability. So maybe, yeah. And we've had a comment from Brendan Rodgers. It's interesting keeping up with the Euros from America.
American sub. We love to see it. Thank you, mate.
Is Brendan? Please tell me, is Brendan Rodgers your real name?
Because if so, that's
it. Please let your.
And are you a Leicester fan?
Because you've managed 2 of our teams, if so.
Yep.
It's not my real name. Okay. Well, I respect the real name, to be
Good
fair.
character.
Yeah.
Great name. You've come to the right podcast with that name.
Yeah. I think, like you said about Van Dijk, I think obviously even Portugal with Ruben Diaz, who was the best defender in the world last year, didn't manage to sort of go or do that as much as people thought they would. Not making out of the round 16 was abysmal for them.
Yeah.
He looked like a donkey this Euros.
Exactly. But then again, you look at Bruno Fernandes. Again,
Donkey.
absolutely trash.
Was he playing?
Yeah, he was trash. So I think
Cristiano Ronaldo on a herd of donkeys.
there's a few big names that have not turned up. Mbappe, another player, just have not turned up for these Euros. So yeah, obviously it could have been different for Netherlands not having Van Dijk, or if they did have him, sorry. But again, it could have worked out exactly the same. They might not have,
could have.
They might have been knocked out exactly the same place. But
I've seen a lot of people commenting about the fact that Bruno wasn't great because of Ronaldo, and obviously he takes charge of that team and it all goes through him. So I just want to put a little spin question to you guys. Does Ronaldo actually hinder Portugal rather than make them better?
I mean, on paper, you look at their team and you go, Jesus Christ. And then all you see is like Ronaldo throwing fits. Like, pass to me, pass to me, pass to me. I think
to a certain extent,
to
a certain extent, I think he does sort of bring the team down a bit, just in the fact that because he's got a very specific mindset of, I have to win, I have to be the best, it has to be me, I want to do this, and me sort of thing. Well, that's the impression that I get from him anyway. Whereas someone that's doing it for sort of the good of the team is going to bring that team morale. Obviously, having someone like Ronaldo he's arguably the GOAT. We're not going to go into that because we could speak about that for years. But yeah, he's going to obviously bring some confidence into the players and stuff like that. But at the same time, I think there's a burden that comes with Ronaldo, having that mentality.
The ego as well.
Does, yeah, the ego and everything does have effect on the other players. So could they have done more without him? Potentially. Would they have done even worse without him?
I love that we managed to make it, because I literally, as soon as I said that, I thought all of you would have been like, "Oh, shut up, bro. What are you talking about? It's Ronaldo."
You made a good point.
I don't think he can be blamed for the other day, because certainly it was nothing to do with him. The fact that the rest of his teammates were insisting on shooting from over 30 yards out, that was ridiculous.
I think there is something to it, because there is he does demand a lot of the ball, but then it is on Bruno Fernandes. But if you've got Ronaldo there, do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to take advantage of that, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Imagine Ronaldo and Fernandes playing sort of together as a unit, as opposed to them playing on the same team, but one of them kind of wants to be more of the star. I think you put your egos aside and everything. To be fair, I'm not saying Fernandes has got a big ego, or especially not compared to Ronaldo. He's not had that level of fame yet. But I think you put those egos aside, and if they actually sorted out what clear sort of issues that they have with each other, because there seems to be some sort of thing in the background that they're not too happy with each other, or whatever it may be. I don't know if that's me just thinking into it a bit
I've
too
not
much.
seen anything about it, and
But-
I've not really noticed it, but
Yeah.
you might have noticed something different than what
Yeah,
I
it just seems like Ronaldo was getting quite sort of pissed off with
saw him
Fernandes,
try. I thought he
really.
was going to try and murder Jota at one point, but I think that's just
Yeah.
Ronaldo, man. I think that's just Ronaldo.
Yeah.
He demands obviously like the highest standard, doesn't he? And
Yeah.
you can't like. There's no one. There's only argument. There's one player that can match Ronaldo's standard, and he doesn't play for Portugal, so
Saka.
he won't go into
I
the
think-
Ronaldo.
For
Go-
Ronaldo, like ego, I don't think you can use ego as an argument against them anymore. Whereas, because I mean, like we say, he is one of the 2 best players of all time, unquestionably. Whereas for someone like Pogba, that ego getting in the way, look at him, all those stupid dance moves he did the other day. Where is he now? He looks like a wanker.
That's so true. You don't celebrate like that until the full-time whistle goes. It's definitely not. I think Mourinho.
Ronaldo's won enough to
Yeah,
justify it all. But
What you taught me that, mate.
Yeah.
But,
Mourinho had he had an interview after the Portugal game. Not Portugal, the France game, and they were asking him sort of about it, and he said, like, why? Like, why do you start celebrating? Like, why do you try and take things that much further and sort of try and rub it in their faces when the full-time whistle hasn't gone yet? 'Cause at the end of the day, anything can happen, and a lot did happen. And it was there was only 5 minutes left of the game, but like minus added time by the time, and it was still they were still up. So
yeah. What a game of football that was, though. But before we get on to the Portugal game, because I do just want to get your scores for the Czech Republic Denmark game that you think is going to happen.
oh yeah,
Because we had a nice segue into Portugal there, but I realised I didn't get your scores. But I think,
we almost segued 2 games on in France.
yeah, that's true. I think this will be a close one, but ultimately I reckon it will be like a 1-0 Denmark. I'm backing the
That's
boys.
literally what I was thinking. 1-0
Backing
Denmark.
the boys. Let's go.
I think it could be a goal fest.
Do you reckon?
I'm gonna say 4-2 Denmark.
4-2. I'd love that. That would be sick. But yeah, no, I like your optimism.
I'm going 3-0 Denmark.
3-0.
We've all got the we're all backing the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the Danes.
Let's go. Great
I do love
game.
Patrick Schick though. Love that guy. English legend.
But yeah. So we're Portugal. They are out. The champions are gone. Both finalists are gone. From the last one. Portugal, man, they didn't. It was weird, right? Because they actually were better than Belgium throughout the game, but Belgium won, so I guess it doesn't really matter.
It's because Ronaldo changed his shirt at half time. He was wearing a long sleeve shirt, then he swapped to a short sleeve shirt, and apparently, according to lots of the papers, that was it. That was the deciding factor, which I think is the biggest load of shit I've ever heard.
It was quite a dull game, so I'm not surprised they're running with that.
You've got to run with
It was
something.
Yeah, it was a dull game, but I tell you what, it was a good goal from Thorgan Hazard.
Oh, yeah.
He's really showing up now as well, which is great.
Scored more than his brother.
The better has brother for sure.
Definitely stepped out of the shadow of being like, you know, it was always he's Eden Hazard's brother, but now it's like he's Thorgan Hazard. He's his own sort of, you know, he's like we said, better than Eden Hazard. Scored more. Interestingly enough, we'll talk about this when we go into our Belgium Italy things. They are going to be without De Bruyne and Eden Hazard for the quarterfinals. So I don't know. I wasn't that impressed, and I don't think they've been ultimately that impressive this whole tournament. They've looked beatable. And now they don't have De Bruyne and Hazard. I am not confident that they're beating Italy.
I mean, the link
Lukaku,
up.
he's been the difference for him so far, hasn't he?
Yeah.
The thing is, the link up has basically for Belgium been Lukaku and either Hazard or De Bruyne. Without
now
them
it's
two,
Carrasco and Mertens.
that doesn't sound like a link up to me. That just sounds like an unfortunate choice.
I mean, to be stuck with two players, to be stuck with Carrasco and Mertens is not a bad.
No.
thing.
But this is after I've just said Hazard and De Bruyne. You know what I mean? Like
De Bruyne we saw it in, I can't remember what game it was, but they were terrible. And then De Bruyne comes on, and they go and win. I can't remember what game it was. It was in the group stage, but
yeah.
But it's just, I think it might have been Russia, but I think. I don't know, man. They're not impressive, and it's Lukaku. That defense, bruv. You cannot play a back three of Alderweireld, Vermaelen, and Vertonghen. Like,
Europe cannot
in the competition.
we are gonna beat them. I'm not even joking. If we end up playing them in the final, we are gonna beat them. There's no chance that they can deal with Sterling and Saka. And then if Grealish comes on or starts, not a chance.
No.
It's just not gonna happen. We're gonna fucking beat them, and especially if De Bruyne and Hazard are still not available. I'm not even worried. But yeah,
I'll welcome that. To be fair, Alf.
Yeah.
But a quick look at how old these guys are. So Vermaelen's 35. That is ridiculously old. Well, it's not that old, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Vertonghen's like definitely in his 30s now, 34, and Alderweireld is 32. So yeah, they're all early to mid 30s, which is not what you want from your starting back line.
They've got like no youth coming through either. Like
No.
they're going to be average again in a couple of years.
And they've just wasted all of this talent on Roberto Martinez. Like, leave it out, man. That's so poor. I hope they go out against this team. I'll be gassed if they don't win anything with this team.
Remember the video of Lukaku's reaction when he was still playing for Everton when he found out that Martinez was going to be the Belgian manager, having just left Everton. I think he's like coming down the tunnel or something with Kevin Morales, who's obviously still in the Belgian team at that point, and they're both just like, "Oh my god," like walking off. Just like, "Oh," Lukaku whispers something in his ear, and they're like,
yeah. I mean, they know as well, right? They know, so it's just, I mean, I'm not. It sounds weird. I'm not worried about Belgium right now, man. Really not. If they get De Bruyne and Hazard back, then that's a different question. Then, you've got to respect them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure if they'll be able to push it at Italy without Hazard and De Bruyne. I'm not really sure they'll be able to push them sort of all the way and get a convincing win anyway.
It depends what Italy we see. If we see Italy from the 90 minutes of the game in Austria, then they are definitely beatable. But if we see their extra time Italy, then Italy are going to win it 2-3-0 maybe.
Italy have also looked beatable. Well, I say they've looked beatable. In that first 90 minutes, they were definitely beatable. 100%. They were not the same Italy that we saw in the group games. I was at yours watching it, Alf, and it was the first Italy game that your dad had watched. Yeah. And that was
what is
we were
this?
gassing Italy up. We were saying,
He's a
we were gassing them up and going, like obviously Italy have been really good. They've like been playing really nice football, really fluid, blah blah blah. We're watching it, we're like, oh my god, this is not going down not going down very well compared to what we were sort of telling them they were like. But
the time, man. Oh, Chiesa scored a great goal. Scored a great goal to equalise? Yeah, it was, because Austria went 1-0 up, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Well, I've had a break.
No. Austria scored and then had it ruled out. Then Italy went 2-0 up in extra time, and then Austria.
That was it, and then they come back. That was it. I just had a complete blank spot on the Italy game for a second there. But yeah, no, you're right. But they were unlucky. Yeah. So obviously, if Austria just a bit luckier, they win that game 1-0, and it's just, I think, Italy, they're so beatable, but then also all it takes is one moment. They've got so many amazing players like Mobley, Insigne, Berardi, Belotti. Spinazzola's been, with Kimmich. I think them two have been the best wing backs this whole tournament. And Donnarumma, who, according to Danny Murphy, looks like a good keeper. It's nice to know that Danny Murphy does his research.
That's a bold take.
Not like he's already got over 200 caps for AC Milan and nearly 30 caps for Italy by the age of 21, and he started for He started playing for AC Milan first team in 2015 when he was 16 years old. Yeah, Danny Murphy. He does look like a good goalkeeper. He does.
Try and find the stat that I saw the
Where's
other
he
day
gone now?
about
Was it
Donnarumma.
PSG?
Yeah, PSG.
Disappointing.
Jesus, I hate Emma Hayes. Shout out to Emma Hayes. I know it's on a bit of a tangent. She was fantastic in the Spain, Croatia doing the commentary. She was just spitting facts, man. She was making Jermaine Genius and Danny Murphy quiver because all they do is chat shit. And yeah, I mean, she smashed it. Alex Scott and Emma Hayes are the two best commentators that have done it so far. So, big up them two. They've been smashing it, man. Hayes, I'd rather have Emma Hayes right now in the Palace job than Vieira, man. It sucks. We will get onto that at some point.
He's just won a league title. I don't think Vieira's ever won shit as a manager.
Yeah, man, exactly.
Just
As a
before we
player,
move on, though, I had a stat that I saw the other day about Donnarumma. I've just found it again. She's been playing for the Italian national team since he was 17. He's now 22, and he's never conceded more than one goal in a game.
Yeah.
For Italy, anyway.
Sounds like a good keeper, though.
Yeah, sounds all right. Yeah, might
That's
be all
especially
right.
surprising considering they didn't even qualify for the last World Cup, so there would have been a lot of games of losing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So he's clearly not one to let in too many, anyway.
But yeah, any sort of any more you want to say on the Italy and Italy Austria game, guys? Anything more? No. Fantastic. So what do you guys think? Italy Belgium.
Italy will win, but potentially not very convincingly. It depends what sort of team they put out, because the team in that, like we said, in that first 90 minutes were horrendous. They did not look good at all. But then again, you think about Belgium. If they're not going to have players like Hazard and De Bruyne, are they going to be able to pull anything off? So I think Italy will still probably just do have the edge, but I don't think it's going to be a convincing win. Maybe 1-0.
See, if they had De Bruyne and Hazard, I'm saying this is going to penalties, because I just think both teams will score, and it won't be a problem. But with no De Bruyne, no Hazard, which De Bruyne has so evidently been the X factor for them. I know obviously Lukaku's the one getting the goals, but that doesn't happen if De Bruyne's not playing. Like we saw, it didn't happen when De Bruyne wasn't playing. Like they looked so lethargic and just so slow in their build-up play. There was no spark. And I know Dries Mertens and Carrasco are good players, but they're not like creative like De Bruyne is. They can't see passes and do things that De Bruyne can do. And I just think with those, with that back three, like Spinazzola, Insigne, Immobile, Berardi, they are going to take the piss, man. I think it could be like, they have Courtois, which is still good. So that's the same. But I think they might put 2, maybe even 3 on them. Yeah, sorry, Mark. What do you think?
I think Italy will have a bit of a score fest, like you were mentioning before we laid out a bit there. Without De Bruyne and Hazard causing a threat in the mid, I just think Italy will run riot, and a conservative run riot. I think they'll win at 3-1. I think Lukaku will get
You back Belgium to score.
One goal at least. But a 3-1 to Italy, I think.
Nice. And it's H.
I think it's going to be a tight, cagey game. I don't think there's going to be much either way. Because obviously with the misses for Belgium, I think they're going to tighten up quite a lot. And they do have players in midfield who can do that, like Witsel, Tielemans.
Yeah.
So I can see either being 0-0 or 1-0, and then Belgium winning on pens is my prediction.
Belgium you think? Okay.
Wow.
I like it. We got a Belgium backer.
I think
like
Belgium are going to be better at keeping the ball, even without trying to push forward. Because when Italy get the ball, they're going to be going straight at it if they can.
Bombing, yeah.
But I think Belgium are quite good at keeping the ball, so I can see it kind of grinding down into a not very interesting game.
That's a good point. I can see them just, when they do have possession though, I see them literally just on the halfway line or behind, just passing it around, waiting to see someone make a break. But you don't have those.
Italy are going to be fine with that as well.
You don't have De Bruyne who is up, but then is going to drop into pockets of space, receive the ball, do a turn, let players run off the back of him. Mertens and Carrasco don't do that. So yeah, it's going to be tough. And Hazard as well, he just pops up anywhere. He can be anywhere. We see Carrasco likes to attack the wings. Same with Mertens. Mertens does come infield a bit because he's played a bit of centre forward and stuff like that. But you don't have that dynamic you don't have that dynamic play that you could have, do you, with Hazard and De Bruyne? Just there's no, I can't see them breaking down Italy now. Like Tielemans is great, but he's not a player that breaks a team down. He pings the ball about. If you catch him on the edge of the box, he can smash one in for sure. But he's not someone that's gonna work 3 or 4 nice passes together in an intricate bit of play to open up spaces. That's just, there's no one else that does that on that team. So yeah, they definitely could go 0-0, but I just think Italy, man. I think that Austria game also has given a bit of kick up the arse as well, maybe. Maybe brought them back down to earth a bit.
Humbled them.
But yeah, we'll move on. We'll move on from these guys. So we got 3 for Italy, 1 for Belgium. I like it. Either way, we're getting it right. So whatever. Just thought about that for the other game. Yeah. Oh Jesus. Let's talk about the biggest upset and the funniest one. Because the best player in the world, supposedly, or the best player at this tournament,
Haris Seferovic.
He done messed it up for the boys. If you didn't know, Switzerland managed to beat France on penalties. After a crazy day of football, like we had the Croatia-Spain game, which we'll get on to, which was a goal fest, followed by another goal fest, which was the France-Switzerland game.
14 goals in 2 games, wasn't it?
Yeah, 14 goals in 2 games. And
mad.
Mate, Mbappe, we need to talk about him, bro. Because where's he been? Like, where is he?
Wasn't invited with the.
He's not turned up at all this tournament. He was odds-on favourite to be top goal scorer, and he's been completely outshone. Yeah, he's going to be completely outshone.
Had him in my team a couple of times.
I captained him, and
no point.
I captained Benzema. Luckily, got 20 points from him, so
nice.
Did alright.
Yeah.
But no, Mbappe just nothing. I honestly thought he'd smash these Euros and really put considering his sort of position as well, where he's sort of not signed a new contract with PSG yet, can move.
He's probably stated that he wants to leave.
Well, yeah, of course he's handed his transfer request. But you'd think now is the chance he's got the stadium, he's got the platform to now go, look, this is what I can do, and he's done nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just on a lower transfer value for his team to buy.
Maybe.
Make himself more affordable.
Maybe they decided to take his little brother that's just signed for PSG to Euros instead of him. But no, he didn't look great really. I don't know what he's just never been able to properly sort of get the ball rolling with this in the Euros. Quite odd really, because he did quite well in the World Cup a couple of years ago when they won. But
he should have been player of the tournament probably if it wasn't going to be Luka Modric. He definitely, only a few years younger as well, and he was scoring goals for fun in that tournament.
Yeah, exactly. He's the second youngest. I think he's the second youngest player to score a goal in the World Cup.
Yeah,
but of all people.
Yeah. Let's obviously, yeah. France were bad. France were bad. They were bad this whole tournament, unfortunately. But they had moments where they could just turn it on, get a couple goals. Do you know what I mean?
When Benzema scored those 2 in quite quick succession, I think I messaged everyone and just said, the Swiss have crumbled. And
penalty miss.
Yeah. Penalty miss. Yeah, that was bad. But let's talk about that bloody that first touch from Benzema for the first goal. Jesus Christ, Bergkamp vibe, boy. Holy shit, that was incredible. I think I can't remember who I was speaking to at the time. I think it might have been you, Alf, but I'm not sure if he meant it. Well, he meant to control the ball, definitely, but he didn't. I don't think he meant to control it like that.
I think it was just go stick your leg out and hope, see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I like the narrative that he meant to do it. I'm just going to stick with that.
Oh yeah, don't you? It would be pretty cool.
I don't like him, so
yeah, I know you don't.
I'm backing Ollie's point.
It's a bit like when Giroud scored that scorpion kick. I don't think he 100%. I think he just thought get anything on it.
No, that was lucky as fuck. Man. That was one of the luckiest goals ever because it was against Palace. Obviously,
yeah, I was going to say it was
if it was against anyone else, he meant it for me.
Yeah.
But not against Palace. No, yeah. Oh yeah.
Overrated goal for an underrated player.
Very true. Yeah. What a lovely way.
Regardless of whether he meant it or not, that was a great goal. Great touch. Fair play to him. You can't really sort of say otherwise, really. Or Harry can, but
got a Giroud stat. Giroud.
Max get in the way of my.
Giroud is France's second top goal scorer, only just behind Thierry Henry.
He is. He's only a couple of goals away as well.
Which is mad. Which goes again with the underrated player.
Yeah. He did score the other night, but it was a penalty. So
I'm really interested to see how he's talked about once he's retired. I think he's going to be one of them players that is really good and all that, but there'll be the hipster football fans that try and say he's better.
All of us just nodding our heads like
guys. Better than all these guys. While he is very good, even if he beats Henri's record for France, I'm still taking Henri every day. Do you know what I mean?
I think
definitely.
it might even end up being he's one of those players that you forget about. Not completely, but every once in a while, someone will be like, "Oh, you talk about the best strikers of the 2010s. You name a few," and then someone will be like, "Oh, Olivier Giroud." I'd be like, "Oh yeah, he was actually
you talking about Giroud? I'm talking about Benzema, bro.
I was still talking about Giroud.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
talking
talking
about
about Giroud as well.
I thought about.
You're talking about Benzema. We're all talking about Giroud, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
No,
no.
I mean Giroud, I think
People
will
don't
go
remember
down. Giroud, I think it applies for both. Really, what I was saying. I think it applies for both. Benzema will be the top list people. People will try and say Benzema is better than Henri, is better than Aguero, these kind of things, and it's just not.
Wrong.
And it's not true. He is great. Don't get me wrong, he's a fantastic player. But then also La Liga, come on. That the league you play in matters. It does matter.
Yeah.
Obviously they say, you can't. They don't choose who they play. Well, I guess they kind of do because they do choose to go to these teams. But
Henri went there to wind down after the Premier League.
yeah, man. And
the soul.
And it's just I don't know. I just think it works for both, man. It works for both. I think Giroud is actually very underrated. But I don't know. I don't know. I can't be bothered to talk about Giroud right now. It's too weird, too much of a weird conversation with Giroud.
He's played 110 games for France, and he's 5-6 goals or something off beating Henri's record.
But then also the reason why, let's be real. I mean, fine, he's been good, but the reason why he has got that tally is because Benzema and the French national team had we've had another.
What is going on here?
We've had another freeze.
I can hear you. We're coming back to it.
We're back. Sorry, people. Once again, technical problems. I don't know what's going on today. Maybe it's Discord.
It must be. If we're all freezing, I think Harry's pretending to be frozen right now.
That actually got me. I was about to be I don't think Harry's back.
It got me for a second as well.
I started watering. I was like, I can't keep this up much longer.
But as I was saying, sorry, Giroud. The only reason why he's got this tally is because Benzema had a falling out with the team. He wasn't playing for years. If he was available, Benzema gets chosen. Benzema's probably breaking Thierry Henry's record by now. That's just the way it is. But let's praise Switzerland, man, because the way they came back. The way that, I've actually got some Xhaka news to talk about next. I reckon, following off of this game, basically, some people have been watching this game and have forgotten about the rest of his career. But Switzerland played really well, and Xhaka did play really well. Seferovic, Harry, help me out. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna go to you every time. He played back. He was great. Dude. Was unlucky not to have a hat trick. I think he had his hat trick goal disallowed, right? He scored.
Yes, it was offside. Yeah.
But so I mean, fair play, man. And every penalty they took, bar one, because I know Lloris got a hand to one, but it still went in, was a banger of a penalty. I wouldn't want to go penalties with Switzerland, man. Not in that rat. They were fantastic.
It's funny how a lot of both teams were sending their defenders up to take penalties. It wasn't their goal scorers. It wasn't their strikers or midfielders. A lot of them were defenders.
Yeah, Kimpembe looked like looked so scared going up to take that penalty, but he scored such an amazing penalty. It was one of the best penalties you can score. But he looked like he was going to cry when he was putting the ball down.
I think going back to sort of Mbappe for 2 seconds, I think with the penalties, I think the reason he was chosen as the last French penalty taker was for all the glory if it had been the winning. penalty.
Yeah.
Oh,
Obviously, he would have then been. You think about how he's being looked at now, and he's the reason that they're not there. Well, he's not the sole reason, but he's one of the main reasons why they're not there right now. But if like things had gone sort of the other way around, and he was the player to score that winning goal, they were like, yeah, finally he's arrived. He's here at the Euros. He's world class. This, that, and the other. It's crazy how that one very small moment has completely changed. Not completely, but changed a lot of people's opinions of him.
high risk, high
And
reward.
I think exactly, yeah. I think there's a lot of pressure when you take that last penalty, regardless of whether they've already missed one or not. But yeah, I think it's a bit of a peak situation for him, really.
Yeah, we'll get into some Mbappe transfer stuff in a little bit. Well, I guess we can get. Oh no, we've got to talk about the Spain game, really. Haven't we? Let's talk about the Spain game really quickly, and then we'll get into some transfer news. Spain don't look like a good team, do they, boys? Pedri's good, very good player. Morata scored a banger, finally.
Pedri scored a banger as well.
Yeah,
For Croatia, admittedly, but
I did, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, I was having a conversation with this someone at work. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I thought it was a 50-50 split on the blame for that own goal for me, because the Unai Simon touch was horrific. He took his eye off the ball, whatever. But Pedri has fizzed that ball back to him with a load of spin on it. Like, it's a tough ball to take in, regardless of where you are on the pitch. And playing that kind of ball back to your goalkeeper is not a smart decision.
yeah,
but
that's fair.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone
thought I was wrong. So
everyone's talking about the keeper's mistake, but ultimately it's gone down as his own goal. So I think you're right. It's been fairly attributed to both. Unai Simon's got the media battering. Pedri's got the own goal on his record.
that's it. But yeah, they're another team that is a great team, a historically great international team that is scary, that look beatable. They look beatable.
This is the year we have to win, because
Yeah.
we're not going to be in this situation probably ever again, where obviously most of the favourites have already been knocked out by round 16.
The winner and the finalist are both out.
Yeah, exactly. The World Cup winners and but obviously both the winner from the last Euro and the other finalists from last Euro all knocked out. As
The finalist from the World Cup's out.
Yeah,
The
it's
other
literally
finalists are
we're not going to be in a better position than we are now to win this for probably a long time, and we have to capitalise on it. Because even some of the top teams that are still in it, like we've already said that Italy look beatable on occasions. That whether obviously Spinazzola goes up and leaves, well, not a hole in defence because they cover it, but that could easily be a counter attack, and that could be them done. See, Belgium, like we've said, very much look beatable.
One of them will be out as well, which is
Exactly.
great
That's
news
what I mean.
for the next round. So yeah, it's
And then
fantastic.
Spain also look very beatable. There's not many other big sort of favourite teams left, really.
So I'm more worried about the Denmarks and even like the Czech Republics now than I am
it's
worried
weird.
about Italy or I mean, Italy. If we come against Italy, I will be shitting my pants the entire game, 100% guaranteed, like I was for the Germany game. But yeah, we got to do it. We have to do it, boys. There's the only excuse is that we choked. That's the only excuse that can come out of it if we don't win. This is that we choked. We weren't good enough.
I think a big part of this
The narrative
tournament.
is all on us.
I think a big part of
Everything
this
else is falling into place.
big part of this tournament is probably like team cohesion and team spirit. Just being a team in general, I think it's quite a big part in this tournament. Like Denmark, like obviously with what happened to Christian Eriksen, would have given them that drive. They're still a good team. Don't get me wrong. They've still got a lot of talent, but they've got a reason to be playing now, rather than winning. They're now doing it for their teammate, and obviously you've seen that on the pitch, that their drive. They won't give up even to the last minute.
They're going to be riding so high on confidence as well.
Yeah.
Eight goals in the last two games after losing to Finland on the first game, and obviously having that horrific incident with Eriksen.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think that's going to be the same for the England boys, man. There could not be a more confident camera. We just beat Germany 2-0, knocked them out. Joachim Löw's last game, potentially Toni Kroos's last game.
You haven't
Possibly Muller
conceded.
and Hummels as well.
Possibly in Muller and Hummels. I expect Muller will be at the World Cup next year.
I think Neuer will be as well.
Neuer will be, but mate, like
We've still got a young squad.
yeah, we dominated Germany. I'm putting it out there.
I think
Dominate.
that's why we've always been, well, over the last sort of maybe 10 years, we've always been okay. We've not been terrible, but we've not been world class. We've never properly looked like we were gonna like
We've had
confidently.
like an Aaron Lennon or a Theo Walcott in the team.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh,
The
Because
low
of
point was
that-
in like 2014 when we had like Ricky
Yeah.
Lambert in the squad.
oh Jesus Christ. Yeah.
But,
Ben Johnson at right back.
like obviously that sort of situation, because we've not had that permanent starting 11 that's been so dominant for a long time, we've been able to rotate our players, whereas some of these teams like obviously Germany, where they're not, some of their talent is getting old now, and they haven't really got much in the pipeline to replace that. Obviously France have got a lot of sort of depth. Germany obviously do have some young players coming in, and we'll be able to push on, but we have got such a young squad that are doing the job now that we definitely, in the next couple of years, hopefully go into a lot of tournaments being favourites.
Same thing happened with Spain after Iniesta retired. Like there's no contingency plan, and also Xavi, Puyol, and players like that. It's just
David Villa.
like nothing coming through. And obviously that happened with us with our golden generation. We never won anything, but you know, we had look at the talent we had, and then 2 years later, we're like, oh shit, we're really starting Rob Green and Glenn Johnson, and what the fuck happened?
Matthew Upson.
When Rob Green let in that own goal against the USA. Was it World Cup? First game of the World Cup?
Robert Green.
Yeah, I remember where I was to this day watching that. I still remember that
So do I.
so vividly watching that happen. It's
After
scarred.
it was coming home for a while after Gerrard scored that early goal.
Yeah.
I was at a pub in Essex at my dad's house, and we were watching the game. The screen suddenly goes black, it all cuts out, and then it pops back up again, and USA are up 1-0. But what on earth has just happened? Literally, the screen was off for like 10 seconds, and then obviously we've then seen all the replays, and we've seen Rob Green make that massive blunder, and you're like, oh, for God's sake, you know what? I'm glad the screen went off. I remember that very, very vividly.
Yeah, there's only a few things I remember that crazy. That is one of them. England winning the 2003 Rugby World Cup. I remember watching that as well. But yeah, no, it was just weird. But I don't know how you guys feel about it. I was talking about this with a friend from work the other day. But I love this team, this Gareth Southgate reign, far more than I ever loved the golden generation. But yeah,
I think we're closer to the team that's around nowadays compared to sort of back then. Obviously, they were looked at as sort of the golden generation, and they were the players that we grew up with. But I think because we're now similar in age compared to what these England players are like, there's some England players that are younger than us, which is depressing. But yeah,
Most of their squad just seem like decent blokes.
Yeah, you can relate. You almost feel like you can relate to them because they are just like people that they feel like kids that like, or like, you know, what, when they're our age and that they're kids that would have been doing the same stuff that we were doing. Do you know what I mean? Like when we were all kids and stuff like that, and also to know that the golden generation didn't really give a shit also makes me, you know, give them, you know, that basically, because how much I remember feeling as a kid. If imagine being a kid when yesterday happened. Do you know what I mean? And we just don't have that.
Feel as Ern.
Yeah, we don't have that, man.
yeah.
I don't have an England moment from my head as a kid where I'm like, oh my god. But
Anything I can think of
they've
is
already given me two. They've given me the World Cup semi-final that we've got to, and they've given us beating Germany in a knockout stage of the tournament for the first time since we won at the World Cup.
Yeah, it's a big
anything
one.
that I can think of is a very sort of a big memory from that England team was Frank Lampard's goal that was never a goal.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not exactly a bloody positive
What
one.
a goal that was.
It was not exactly a positive memory either.
It was a banger though.
Yeah. It
And
was-
Dizzy
yeah,
Rascal
great
and
goal.
James Corden's song. Why is that coming to my head when I think about the Golden Generation? That's one of the first things I think about. When
Thankfully, it's Ant and Deck for me. We're on the ball. That's a banger.
oh, okay, all right, yeah, it's Dizzy Rascal and James Corden for me. I hate it.
But now we've got Krypton
Oh,
Conan.
England.
Yeah.
I mean, no, after It's Coming Home was made, and like Vindaloo and them lot, no, they should have just stopped. Because also, I'm not a big fan of that Krypton Conan tune. Oh,
It's catchy.
The last good one was
but-
We're on the ball.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
There
just
was you see, John Barnes was at Box Park in Croydon last night, and he sung
Yeah,
this song.
how expensive it was to get a table.
Really?
No, I didn't
Or
see it.
400 quid a table at Box Park Croydon yesterday.
Really?
What?
Bloody hell, I saw the tickets were released at 1 o'clock today for the game on Saturday, and I was thinking about looking at tickets. I was like, you know what, everyone is gonna want a ticket, so there's no point in me even bother looking.
I would say it's
Yeah.
good. It is good vibes at the Box Park Croydon. We obviously myself, Ollie, and Mark did it for the Champions League final where Liverpool won
Mark's
it. Obviously, Mark's cousin, obviously, Kieran. Just quick ones. Switzerland versus Spain scores. I think the Swiss will do it and win 1-0
I would love to see that.
Yeah.
in extra
go-
time.
I'll go 2-1 to Spain.
2-1 Spain. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think probably maybe 2-1.
I reckon a 0-0 Swizz will do it in pens.
Swiss.
Swizz.
Swizz, I like it.
Was it?
Swizzy.
Boots.
He's gonna smash it. But so we've got our scores on the doors. I think we've got a majority of Spain to go through. Spain will play Italy, as according to our books, and Denmark are playing England in the semi-finals. So that's
On the
how-
English and the Danes.
But yes, before we wrap up today's show, I've got a bit. I have actually got a bit. We'll whiz through some of these. We don't have to go through all of them. There's a few that are just a bit, chat ones. But there's some transfer rumors and also some non-rumors, some stuff that's just actually happened. But yeah, it's despite the Euros, there are people are doing business, man. Moves being made and feelers being put out there. We'll start with obviously Premier League. We'll start with the big boys, Manchester City. Obviously now interested in Kane and Grealish. Reports are that they're going to push the Kane deal back to next summer and really focus on getting Grealish.
I think that's more realistic for them.
Definitely, I think, and yeah, as 100%. And anything of them, Buendia and them pushing for Smith Rowe, I think that's telling us a lot that they might be replacing Jack Grealish. But yeah, I mean, guys, Grealish to City, I mean, no-brainer for both parties, right?
RIP the rest of the Premier League.
Nah, my Liverpool will be fine.
I think that's smart to prioritise signing Grealish before his transfer value goes even higher, or someone else comes in and poaches him, because only 2-3 clubs in the world can afford Harry Kane anyway. I think he's going to want to stay in the Prem if he can.
Oh, we're back.
We're back.
Happening more often.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, bloody Discord. Mike, you got some serious editing to do with this podcast, mate. You're going to have to edit all these little blips out.
Sorry, it won't take too long.
No, I agree, to be honest. That the smart move to push the Kane deal back. Obviously, Tottenham probably want a while longer to sort out a replacement, or sort out a bloody manager and a replacement, really. But yeah, they've smart move from City to push that back. Obviously, yeah, they know that Grealish is on form. Been great in the Premier League. Been great when he has played in the Euros, so it's a smart move for them. And obviously, they can see that they're already, like you said, Alf, putting in, obviously getting other players in as potential replacements. So, smart moves this summer.
They've also signed Fernandinho to a 1-year contract extension. Great move, fantastic move. Let that transition ease a bit more. Maybe get his advice on a couple players that maybe he thinks that you guys should sign and all that. I like it.
He's been signing 1-year extensions for sort of the last couple of years, I think. He's never. I don't think he signed another sort of couple of year deal for the last few years. I think they're going to just see how it's panning out, and then towards the end of the season or at the end of the season, they go, right, 1 more year, and then he goes again and again, and it sort of keeps going. It could be a case of he gets to the point where he's like, well, there's not really point in me going anywhere else, so I might as well just retire. which wouldn't be a bad thing for him. He's
No.
great player, so has been for a while.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it just doesn't make no sense. Just stay there until you're ready to retire, man. Go grab that bag for another year.
Yeah, that testimonial.
Yeah, exactly. Rumors are Sterling's gonna reject a new deal or an extension on his deal because of obviously all the links with the Harry Kane move, potentially selling him. Bit of bad blood, I think, there, but obviously I don't know how true that is. But it was reported by Sky, who was a credible source when it comes to this kind of stuff. So
Guardiola has done that stuff for players before as well. Just like push him out
100%.
a lot. He's done that quite a few times.
If they're pushing the Harry Kane deal back by a year, he might stay for another year. But I think he's probably just going to want to sort of cut ties as soon as possible. Really, if he knows he's going to be, if it's just another 12 months, then he's out. He might as well get his foot in the door somewhere else and work on his next sort of project, really.
I'm sure they probably want to play together, to be fair. They seem to get on really well when I've seen them on England stuff.
It'd be a nice little duo. It would be nice. It'd be good great for Sterling, for sure.
Yeah.
100%. But
Foden, Sterling and Kane.
that'd be quality, man. That'd be quality. But we'll move on to the red side of Manchester now, because that's it for Man City, man. They're being quite reserved, I guess.
Don't need to do that much.
They just need to put the cake, the finishing pieces on that cake that will get them over the hump of a Champions League final. But United of opening talks with Camavinga from Rennes. I could talk about Sancho, but there's just no point at this point. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of fact of when. I'm tired of fucking talking about it, to be honest. Jesse Lingard is looking like he's going to get a new contract, which is fantastic for him. He deserves it after what he did at West Ham.
100%.
Personally, think that he should actually look for a move away permanently, and maybe he should just go and look for to sign a contract elsewhere. Maybe he will. You never know. But
West
yeah,
Ham
maybe.
definitely put an offer in for him.
Oh yeah, they should do.
Sure.
They should do. But also they sent a scout to go watch Adrian Rabiot. He wasn't great.
I think we froze again for a second.
Oh, sorry.
They sent us out to see Rabiot
and then, but with the way that the game went, I would pretty much assume that the scout went back to Manchester and said, "Let's not bother," because he wasn't.
He
good.
had to play the role Matuidi used to play, and not necessarily what he does for this club.
Can't do it. Well, I mean, even for France, Matuidi used to play like left mid sometimes for France. Do you know what I mean? Like random, but he was such a good player, he could do it.
He's still young. He's young. He's 26.
Yeah, for sure.
He's got time to mature and everything, but
He's never properly kicked on though. He didn't kick on at PSG. He hasn't kicked on at Juventus. I don't know what makes people think that he'd be able to come to the Premier League of all leagues and do that if he's not been able to do it in the Farmers League and then the Italian League. So, but where the defending in the Italian League is so suspect nowadays as well, it's so going off my own little rant about Serie A. But what do you guys think? Rabiot worth it? Not. I don't think it's not what they need, man. It's not what they need.
You're better off thinking with McFred.
Yeah, go get.
Fred.
If you're gonna spend money, don't spend it on Rabiot. Go get what's his face from Real Madrid, defensive midfielder Brazilian. Casemiro. Go get Casemiro. Go spend the special cash to get Casemiro for a few years. Go win the Premier League, man. Do you want me to get Sancho, Casemiro? But yeah, maybe Camavinga could do it, but you never know. Chelsea. They have lost the Hakimi race. He is going to go to PSG, it looks like, which is thank God, because I did not want Chelsea to get Hakimi. Just 100%. Ruined Reece James's development completely. And they're also interested in Pjanic, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would be when you've got Jorginho in that team. And,
I'm not sure how much Chelsea really sort of rely on sort of Jorginho and how much they really, what they actually think of him. Because he seems to be a player that he does a job for them. Don't get me wrong, he's not terrible by any means. But I don't think he's spoken about enough.
He was on the bench a lot last season.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't know if
they would...
for quite a while. But...
He was on the bench a lot, but he was also he was a good player. He is he's so pivotal for Italy and the way they play football. It's just because I think it's ultimately because of Kante and Kovacic, really. What was I saying? Yeah, Kovacic and Kante, I think it's down to them more than anything. I just think that they're so good. And then you got Mount. Mount's Kante and Mount are irreplaceable. And then when you've got those two in the team, you want Kovacic rather than Jorginho. Do you know what I mean? He's just a bit more dynamic than Jorginho in that midfield. He offers you a bit
like middleman.
Yeah, exactly. He offers you more on both sides of the ball, whereas Jorginho is more on just the defensive to pinging the ball about sort of thing. But yeah, Pjanic, I just don't get it. Seems like a wasted opportunity. His swap deal with Juventus for Arthur has gone horrifically for Barcelona. I mean, if they can get him on a really cheap deal, I'd say maybe go for it just because it's an option. And Pjanic is a good player, but what's the point, man? Go and get yourself a Haaland or a Lewandowski, man. Just there's no point. Liverpool. Now, Mark, your boys are starting to do a bit of work here.
They are indeed, aren't they?
Offering money. I saw they offered 35 for Koeman. I don't know if they've offered anything more, but I've seen reports of people saying that he should be worth upwards, near 100 mil for Koeman.
Jesus.
I don't really
say 100, but
I
David
wouldn't
Fry,
pay either. 35 is lowballing the hell out of
100%.
Bayern Munich.
Yeah, no, I agree.
How old is Koeman? Well, he's like 25, 26 or something. He's not old.
But he's never not won the league.
Yeah, every season he's
yeah.
played.
Every season in his career, he's won the league. PSG, Juventus, and Bayern Munich. He's won the league every year.
Yeah.
His trophy collection is already insane. I think it's a great move. This is a fantastic move for Liverpool if they can get
Yeah,
it
well,
done.
we lost Wijnaldum as well, so we need to.
Well, he's not Wijnaldum. He doesn't
I'm
play
saying
anywhere
he is.
near where Wijnaldum plays. He's a winger.
I'm saying we have lost numbers in the team. We do need to.
Oh yeah, of course.
pull in numbers. I mean,
Last year,
I
the depth
would love to have
was
Koeman. Don't get me wrong.
I think he's a
Great.
Mane replacement.
Do you reckon?
I think so. I think they're eyeing him, and I reckon they can sell Mane. I just don't know who buys him. I don't know who buys Mane, man. Because I can't see getting Koeman if not one of them front three are going.
I could see someone in Italy buying Mane. I think he'd tear that league to shreds.
What about an Inter Milan coming in for Mane?
That'd be
Or an
amazing.
AC?
Exactly.
AC's
Exactly
revival
kind
is
of
going forward.
Yeah.
They've
I
already
think
just
he'd be
signed.
sick in Italy.
How much are we talking for Mane though?
20
It's
mil.
you got to take last season into account. It has to come into account because it is his most up to date, body of work.
35 straight spot for Koeman.
Straight swap.
I think
35
you
plus
could
Koeman,
swap
that's not a
Koeman.
bad offer.
I think that, yeah. Well, I don't. How dissimilar are Koeman and Mane?
Well, Mane's done
Proven.
it. Like, yeah, it's more of a
That counts,
stat,
doesn't it?
more of a stat filler.
Yeah.
But
No, I
Koeman
reckon,
will
yeah,
get there, probably.
I think 30, 35 million Koeman for Mane. Would you take that?
I kind of would.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's a
kind
very
of
good
would.
offer.
Yeah, fair. It's a great deal, man.
It'd be hard to see Mane go for like everything he's done on that left, but Koeman, man.
Yeah.
Koeman.
Definitely. It makes me wonder what Jota's role is going to be now.
But Jota's quite young.
I think
So
he's going to be an impact sub.
I think he's just going to be, impact
Agree.
sub. And I thought he did quite well as a backup or replacement for Firmino.
It's quite versatile,
Yeah.
Jonathan. So I mean,
Yeah.
he'll be able to play wherever you tell him to, I guess.
I've seen
100%.
weird formations as well where the front three plus Jota have played, and we've switched it up there, so
Yeah.
we can change it up still to include all four of them.
But yeah, no, definitely. I would love to. I think that's a great move. Really smart move, especially if you can get it for anywhere near 35 million. Fucking, that is an absolute coup, man. You've taken the piss out of Bayern Munich a little bit there if you can do it. But yeah, I think it'd be great. I would love to see Koeman come to the Premier League as well. Just from a outside perspective, I'd just love to see him play more often. But your actual Wijnaldum like for like replacement is looking like it's going to be Otavio from the Brazilian midfielder from Porto. I don't know if you guys know much about him.
I can't say I do.
Don't either. Most of it's from FIFA, and I can't really talk about that of his actual experience. But you know what? He's got a £34 million release clause. Obviously, Porto are a good team. Klopp likes him. Get it done, man. Get it done. Get it done. Get it done. I don't, what's his age like?
Sorry, boys, I need to bounce.
26. Oh, no worry, H. See you later.
I will replace
Good
you.
chat, really good episode.
replace you with
Yeah,
a
it was
screen.
been fun.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Love you.
audience. I love you.
Love you. Love you.
Love you.
So he's 26 years old.
There we go. Switch this
Octavio. Yeah.
26.
26.
He's 26 years old.
You would expect him to be in prime then, wouldn't you?
Yeah. He is a very good player though.
Well, I can't say I know too much about him now, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I think it'd be. I think it'd be interesting, but
If Klopp
I
looking at him,
believe
I
in
trust
Klopp.
that. Yeah, Klopp's never
100%.
really let me down that much.
but yeah, we'll get onto Arsenal now. Ollie, your boys, doing the most with the least right now in the league. But
we always seem to be doing the most, and it's all just rumour and
we'll just waffle.
shit that never happens. I
Uh,
was just saying, there's a lot of talk every summer with Arsenal, and nothing ends up happening, and I'm just tired of it now. So until that little yellow box pops up saying confirmed, breaking news, confirmed deal that Arsenal have actually signed anyone, I can't be arsed of it.
I don't blame you. I've seen that you guys. I when I wrote these notes literally like yesterday, it was you're interested in Benfica left back Nuno Tavares, but I've just seen today. I'm trying to find the article that it's been agreed, which is. Oh, hello.
Don't
Hello
know
again.
why we need a left back.
No,
at all.
yeah. Arsenal have secured deal for Nuno Tavares.
Yep.
8 million euros, man. Unless you're
Wow.
looking to play a back three and put what's his face? Kieran Tierney as left centre back. I don't know. But if that's not the case, then this is just
fine.
Arsenal are going to stand still.
Arsenal
Again?
doing Arsenal things.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But yeah. To sell him.
Sorry, we've just.
We did a little bit there. It's increasing.
Yeah.
It's happening increasingly now.
Yeah, well,
Just as
we're
we're trying to
wrapping
round
up,
things.
people, don't worry. Bellerin, he's looking like he's going to go. He's receiving a lot of interest. I think it's a fantastic move from both parties, Arsenal and Bellerin, to just, get it done.
Let him leave.
Hot ways
Yeah.
now.
Move on, yeah. Both, Arsenal can rebuild, Bellerin can, restart his career up in another league. I imagine the Serie A. More of a sort of, I don't know, an exciting rumour for you, Ollie, I believe, is keen on signing Torino striker Andrea Bellotti. But I've seen that Napoli are the front runners right now, and also Milan, Fiorentina, and Roma are heavily monitoring him. So it's going to be a
Jesus.
bid war. But I think if it's going to happen, it would be very cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think Arsenal will be looking to get into any bidding wars. See, we're not going to be prepared to spend the money, and if it gets to the point that we're spending over the odds, why are we going to get Bellotti when we could actually spend the same amount of money and probably get someone better suited? I just don't want us to get pulled into it, and then the same thing happen with what happened with Pepe, and end up paying over the odds for someone that's, not worth their value really.
True.
Yeah.
True.
100%. I like Ben White. Get that Ben White deal done and dusted. I think that if you're going to sign anyone this summer, get him done. Your defensive options are horrific at centre back right now. You've got to get someone in.
He'd be good.
Ben White would be fantastic and a player to build on going forward. Just a couple of things to wrap up real quick. Leicester have signed Patson Daka for 22 million, striker replacement for Vardy. I think he's looking really good from Leipzig. I think he could be a great player.
Nice.
We'll see. Hopefully we'll see a lot of him. Also, Leeds. Big deal. I can't believe they've got this through if this is going. Junior Firpo for 12.8 million from Barcelona. This kid looks like a baller. And if they can get that done, apparently Bielsa is the reason he's managed to convince him to come. And also getting Jack Harrison on a permanent deal, which would be fantastic for him from City, because Jack Harrison was great last year for them.
He was.
One of the better wingers actually in the league, to be honest. And then Palace got Vieira, but we'll talk about that on another podcast when I got free reign to go absolutely batshit crazy about
Without being interrupted.
Yeah, without being interrupted. But I'm trying to be open-minded, but it's hard. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining today. Sorry about the technical issues if you're listening or watching. We do apologise. I don't know what's going on. I'm blaming Discord.
It seems to be Discord because it's happening to all of us. It's not like
it's
I'm
not one of us.
freezing
Yeah.
and everyone else is still talking and everything. So
And it's
we're
never
gonna go
happened.
with But yeah,
Yeah,
don't blame
yeah.
us.
So yeah, I apologise, but
Right. Mark will sort it all out in the edit.
If you want to watch a clean edit, head over to YouTube by Sunday. It'll be there.
yeah, lovely. Yeah, Sunday 1 p.m. is the time we usually get it out, give or take any technical issues on our end, but it will be out around that time. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit a notification bell if you're on YouTube, or any bell that notifies you when we're doing stuff. Hit that motherfucker. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. We're on Instagram and Facebook as well, where we do a lot of, well, we don't do a lot, but we're doing more polls, and we're going to do some more posts, more interact, put some clips up on there. We just need to get our shit together, for lack of a better term, and get them going. But yeah, we're busy guys, man. What can I say? But outside of doing this podcast, we're all busy. Like, it's just what it is. But we appreciate everyone watching and listening wherever you're coming from. We really appreciate it. Make sure to like, share to your mates. We're football geniuses over here, and everyone needs to listen to us.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're very biased, but that's what we like. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Cheers.
It's coming out.
It's coming.
It is coming out.